Lawrence, you want to open it up?
Go ahead, man. Go ahead. I'm just here with the stats today. I'll let Ben host it.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Northwest Georgia playoff roundtable. We got a full cast and crew today. Me, Benton Burge, Team FYN Sports, Mr. Northwest Georgia football, Lawrence Morgan, Team FYN's Chris Napier. He covers North Murray. Team FYN's DJ Kaufman. We got FYN everywhere. We got Team FYN's RJ Casey. We got some new guys on the show today. Potluck Football. They're from Northeast Georgia.
Yep.
Commerce.
Yes, sir.
Commerce area. And then, of course, Mr. Levi Burdick, Region 7 AA Sports. And we're just going to jump right into it. And the first thing I got is some news that we learned just a few days ago, or maybe yesterday, I think it came out, that the playoffs are going to be split up. We're actually going to play 1A public and private and 6A on Saturday. Anybody got any thoughts on that?
I think it's pretty good, man. So us fans can see two football games that weekend. It's hard enough trying to decide what game you want to watch anyway on Friday night. Now you got two to choose from.
I'll be attending too.
And this was due to the referee situation.
Correct.
Yeah.
I've seen some complaining saying, Friday nights are for high school, all kind of stuff. They're going to have to do it just because you got so many teams in the playoffs, and you don't have any buys during the first week of playoffs. So I think it's a good thing. I think it'll get more people, like you said, Lawrence. I'm going to visit one of those games for sure.
Yep.
I kind of see it both like two different ways, as an athlete standpoint and then like as a fan standpoint. Like for me, of course, with the referee shortage, this is how you got to play it. That way, every game gets covered. Everybody has, every game is called the correct way. But again, kids that are trying to get to the next level, or kids that are trying to focus on the next week and things, that takes away that opportunity to be able to talk to those coaches and go on visits. But again, as me as a player, once you get to the playoffs, the playoffs is all you should be thinking about. So I see it two different ways.
I got you. Makes sense. All righty. And we'll go ahead and move on to our first slide here, which is Region 7A private, which Darlington is currently. Mr. Morgan, you said they're locked in?
Yeah, I have got the numbers right here. Darlington is a 100% chance of being the number one seed. They have wrapped up that region. Kind of looks like North Cobb, Mount Perrin, and the Christian Heritage are going to be your 2, 3, and 4. I know Christian Heritage has a game coming up with Mount Perrin. With North Cobb next Friday night, which could decide the second, fourth. But they'll probably go in as 2 touchdown underdogs in that game.
Yeah, you got just looking at the games here. You got North Cobb Christian is at Mount Perrin Christian this week, and Walker is traveling to Darlington, and that's going to add another region win for Darlington for sure. They're just, I don't know. As North Cobb and let's see, North Cobb and Mount Parham, does Christian Heritage have a chance to sneak into the 2 spot if they win out?
So they have a 4% chance. I don't know what has to happen for them to slide into the 2 spot. Probably Walker beating somebody or not. But it says right now, Christian Heritage, 84% chance of getting that 4 seed. So I think they're pretty much locked in at the 4.
Yeah, they have. They only have one game left, and it's against North Cobb Christian.
Yeah, and it looks like if they finish in the 4 seed, they'll be traveling to Holy Innocents down in Atlanta to open up. I think that's top 10 team and a private. So they'll probably be 3 or 4 touchdown underdogs first round. And Darlington, 78% chance of hosting Hebron Academy opening weekend. I think I looked it up, and the Tigers would be a 3 touchdown favorite first round.
Not bad.
Hebron's down
anybody?
this year.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Hebron's kind of it's potluck football. I know we're not usual voices you'll hear, so felt like we needed to introduce ourselves. But I'm Dino, and guy I call Uncle Song over here with me. But we can talk on Hebron a little bit. They're kind of in our coverage area.
Yeah, they were in 8A before private and public split completely. And Hebron is a program that was on the rise for a while. They actually beat Commerce for the first time in 2019.
Yeah.
Had a real good quarterback. Jeff Saturday was the
was
head coach
coaching.
from the Indianapolis Colts. But I think they're down this year.
Yeah, just looking at their results from the year, they seem a little down compared to what they have been the past few years.
I think they played maybe ACAD and Prince Avenue, and both got beat by both of them.
Yeah.
So Darlington should be able to handle them pretty easily.
Yeah, I see right here they have a 78% chance of getting the 4 spot, but they also have a 20% chance of getting knocked out of the playoffs. Period. I guess they have a game coming up with Providence that they have to win to make
I
the
think
playoff.
they'll probably beat Providence.
Okay.
All right. Anything else on 7A private? We'll jump on to the next one. Oh, yeah. That's
That's the big one.
there we go. Oh, slow down. Where are you going? There we go. 6A public.
6A public, yeah. Like I said, Bowden, a 99.99% chance of winning that one. They just have to win one of their last 2 games against Best or Murchie. Say pretty much they got that one locked up. A huge game Friday night. Mount Zion visits Tryon, the winner, 2 seed. Yep.
Another huge game. Gordon Lee and Rome at Armurchie.
Yep.
That's a big one. Armurchie, can they clinch the 4 seed with a win?
Murchie, if they wins, will clinch a 4 seed. Gordon Lee actually has a chance to get as high as a 2 seed if they win that game tomorrow night.
If they win and they beat Tryon.
And they beat Tryon, right. And Mount Zion beats Tryon. Gordon Lee beats Tryon. Gordon Lee will slide into the 2 spot.
That's a lot.
Lawrence, I haven't got a chance to ask you yet if Armurchie has licked their wounds enough to be able to rebound and take on Gordon Lee.
I'm kind of hoping so. I don't know if y'all saw the news this week, with Coach Green getting diagnosed with throat cancer.
I did see that, unfortunately.
That's been big news here at the school. I hope the team can rally around him. Maybe they'll give him a little extra kick Friday night. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I hated to hear that, but like you said, hopefully they'll rally around him. And what about the running back? I heard something about maybe an injury to their running back. Is that?
Yeah, he hurt his shoulder in the Best game. He was actually out last week against Tryon.
Yeah.
They have a senior, Austin Stacy, that's going to carry most of the load. He actually did pretty good against Tryon. They didn't have the ball very much, obviously, but he carried the ball 10 times for 45 yards. The key is just going to be cutting down those turnovers, man, because they turned the ball over 4 times against Tryon. Tryon was able to score 28 points off those turnovers. And, of course, you had Rob Brown and his 350-yard half. I mean.
Whew.
And really, they just controlled the line of scrimmage. And Armurchie just had a bad day of tackling. Their defense just did not look like Armurchie in the previous games. They just weren't tackling at all.
I had somebody text me this week and say that they didn't know if the fans realize how young the Armurchie team is. Their whole offensive defensive line is sophomore and freshman. They got sophomores at linebacker, sophomores in the defensive backfield. Very young team.
Which is why I think they'll match up better with Gordon Lee. Gordon Lee's in the same position. The majority of their offensive and defensive line are underclassmen, whereas against Tryon, you've got, it's senior loaded. The team is just loaded with seniors. And
a bunch more size, a lot more size on that Tryon offensive and defensive line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that Armurchie and Gordon Lee is probably the best, most even matchup we got coming up in that region, because I don't think Mount Zion, is anywhere near Bowden. So.
Yeah, I mean, if you follow Cal Preps, man, it's only a 1.5 point spread on that game. So yeah, it's about as close as you can get.
You got the slide for 8A also?
I do.
Let's throw 8A on there. Let the potluck guys talk about 8A. What's going to happen there?
Yeah, that was kind of our question about. Well, first of all, I might have been. I think I might have mispronounced Tryon my whole life.
I pretty much said Tryon. I hear y'all saying Tryon, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm an idiot, but yeah,
No, it happens all the time.
I mean, no one's ever corrected me. I've just been saying Tryon, but because Commerce, we got we've played Tryon quite a bit. Yeah, times. Quite a bit. I went over there and we've played and had some good games with them throughout the years, and that was kind of my question looking at those standings, was that Tryon and Mount Zion game, because that's going to determine. I mean, if if the chips fall like they should, that whoever loses that game is probably going to have a trip to Lincolnton on their plate. So I was kind of wondering. I know y'all talked a little bit about it, but y'all think Tryon's going to go ahead and win that game?
Yeah, I think Tryon should win by at least.
I would say they're going to be the favorite after what happened before. Yeah,
I would pick Tryon.
Yeah.
Anything.
Rob Brown's a dude.
Friday.
Yeah, that's tomorrow night.
Okay.
We actually,
and what we're looking at is Mount Zion has had some close games against mediocre opponents, whereas Tryon has, when they play an inferior opponent, they blow them out, and their only speed bump has been against Bowden. So I feel like where Mount Zion has had to work to beat a Dade County, they've had to work to beat a couple of these teams that they probably should have coasted past, and they just struggled a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned Rob Brown. I remember a couple years ago, Tryon came to Commerce for the playoffs, and I guess he would have been a sophomore then, and he had a great night that night. So I can only imagine what he's done since then.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a heck of a night last week, man. They only played 2 quarters because of the lightning. And he ended up with 350 total yards and 6 touchdowns, and he had a pick on D. So, I mean, you can't get much better than that in a half of football.
He is a man child. He's ripped. I mean, he's definitely tough to tackle. He's going to
I believe somebody's got a Twitter video of him squatting like 600 pounds or something ridiculous. The kid's just a machine.
Mm-hmm. All righty. We'll turn it over to the potluck guys here. Dino and sorry, I keep missing the next one.
You can call me Mason.
His name, his Christian name is Mason, but
okay. That's
I call him Song.
That's a long story.
It is a little bit of a long story. I'll let you start things off with Washington Wilkes.
Well, did y'all have any questions first off? Since we're the guest on the show tonight, did y'all have any questions for us about Region 8A Public?
I guess the one question I have when I was doing the math today is Greene County still has a chance to slide into the playoffs. I didn't know what had to happen for them to get in there.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either. Earlier in the season, we pretty much had declared that Commerce was going to make the playoffs. And then I read an article in the Athens Banner-Herald a couple of days ago that said that there was a situation where Commerce could miss the playoffs if Greene County won out. But they'd have to beat Lincoln and Social
Circle. Yeah.
And I just don't see that. From what we saw down there in Greensboro, about 3 weeks ago, they didn't seem like they had the team to beat Lincoln County or Social. So,
yeah, and this is the standings you're looking at right now. It's a little deceiving. I mean, this is this is coming from somebody from Commerce. So, Commerce has played Greene and Towns. That's their 2 wins, and they've only played one team in that top 4, which was Social Circle. Social Circle came up here and beat Commerce at Commerce for the first time in history this past Friday night. So it was a little bit of a shock. Commerce was favored by like a touchdown in that one. So it is a little deceiving. Commerce being that high up. I think we're being completely fair.
Yeah,
we're probably going to finish 4th because we still got Washington Wilkes and Lincoln County.
Yeah, and it may happen that Commerce gets an upset on either one of those games.
It could.
We'll be the underdog in both of those games.
For sure.
But I guess we can start at the top and talk about Washington Wilkes. They have the best player in the region to start off. It's a guy named Dalen Cobb.
Yeah, and Dalen Cobb's he's a dual threat quarterback. He won the 100-meter in single A last year. I mean, he might be the best player in single A. If not, he's definitely top 5. I mean, he's hard to stop. He's going to be a 1,030 touchdown guy in the regular season. Washington Wilkes could make a deep run. We feel that, we go by the AJC rankings, and, them being 8 is, I think they're very underrated.
They've been underrated all season.
Yeah. So they're the truth.
Yeah, he'll pass 1,000 against us.
Yeah. This Friday
night. And but yeah, they have won every game since their opening loss against a AA school in the Augusta area called Laney. They lost 26-20. But since then, they've been averaging a win of 23 points, or a winning margin of 23 points over their opponents. Their head coach down there, his name's Sid Fritz. He's been at Washington Wilkes.
I'm sure a lot of people from the Rome area will remember Sid. Sid coached here at Rome High for a long time.
I know exactly who that is.
Yeah, he's been a coach for a long time. He's got an overall record of 190 wins to 56 losses. And just in the 2 seasons at Washington Wilkes, he's gone 16-3. So he was at Gilbert for a while too, which is not far from here.
Yeah.
But Washington Wilkes is a really stout team. They got a couple other guys, Jamarcus Tyson, running back, who's got almost 1,000 yards on the year, 12 touchdowns, and Quinzavian Jackson's their best receiver, who's got almost 500 yards receiving. So they got a lot of weapons, really stout team, a mature team, one we barely beat last season.
Yeah.
That's going to be a tough trip for our 4 seed. The winner at Gordon Lee, our Murchie game tomorrow night. That's going to be a tough road trip on Friday night.
It's a long trip too.
Yeah.
But I mean, but like you said, I guess it's going to be on Saturday, which will help. As far as travel. I mean, just moving down the list, you got Commerce there, but really we kind of think that Lincoln's probably going to be the 2 seed. Unless something changes. They'd have to. I mean, Commerce could still upset them, but we got to go to Lincolnton, and it's never very, very easy to go down there and win a football game.
It's an unforgiving place.
But yeah, they actually, their starting quarterback was at Commerce last year. His name's Trey Huff. His dad was our defensive coordinator last year, and they went off back to Lincoln County, where they're from, I think. But he starts quarterback. He plays linebacker too. So that's kind of a
now, did Commerce lose a freshman running back as well?
Yeah. So we lost not only him,
an all-state kid.
Yeah, Sammy Brown. He was a really good player. He's at Jefferson now. His dad was our head coach, Mike Brown. So he went over to Jefferson, and he's like number 4 overall prospect, 2023.
Or no, 24.
2024. He's a sophomore. So he's but at linebacker, actually. So the big schools like your Georgias and Clemson's are actually looking at him at linebacker.
So Commerce had transfer out an all-state quarterback and an all-state running back.
Correct.
Commerce, you should have stuck to wrestling.
We got a freshman back right now that's making a little bit of noise. It took him a while to get going, but his name's Jaden Daniels. He's a freshman, and
he just passed 1,000 yards.
He just went over 1,000, and that really was over 1,000 in the past
5 games.
5 games. So he didn't really play much early. So he's somebody to look out for because. And again, we're not being too mean. We try not to be too mean to Commerce because we're both Commerce guys, alumni and everything. But we think we're probably going to be going to Bowden. So the Saturday will help us travel over there. But we know that's not going to be an easy matchup with their quarterback. We hear all about their quarterback at least. I know they got a good team all around, but he's the one that we read headlines about.
Yeah, he's a special kid.
Let's hear those.
We were talking about Trine earlier. Trine has very solid defense. And that Bowden quarterback just picked them apart. Just picked them apart at will.
Lawrence, you got the prospective matchups and the percentages of the matchups?
Yeah, it says that Washington Wilkes right now is a 97% chance of winning first. I guess they pretty much have it locked up over there.
Yeah.
Lincoln County, your 2 seed at 76%.
Yep.
Social Circle at 3rd, 69%. Mm-hmm. And then Commerce has a 72% chance of finishing 4th.
Yeah.
And you still have Greene County with a 6% chance of sliding in there somehow.
Right.
6%.
So yeah. So it looks like Commerce will be traveling to Bowden to open the playoffs.
Yeah, unless we can pull off some kind of upset, that's what we think too. Yeah.
Social Circle traveling to Trine, which I think would be a good game. I've heard a lot about that quarterback at Social Circle. He's a big kid, right?
Yeah, probably 6'2", 6'3"?
Yeah, he's tall. He's tall, slender, but he can sling it, man. That Social Circle, they impressed us this past Friday night. I mean, they can really throw it around the yard. I mean, we like we hadn't seen from Social Circle ever.
Right.
Really.
But they are one dimensional. If Tron has a good
if they got a good
defense,
secondary or a good rushing attack as far as getting after the quarterback, they can slow it down.
I think we held Social Circle to less than 50 yards rushing.
Yeah, they're one dimensional. I mean, they do it. Don't get me wrong. They do that one thing really, really well. But they, if you can slow down their pass, I think they'd struggle.
Yeah, that's something. I think some of the smaller teams have a hard time doing is slowing down that pass. Because you don't see a lot of teams that pass a lot. So
yeah, it's an interesting matchup. I might have to check that one out.
Yeah, I pulled up the odds just out of curiosity. Trine would be an 8-point favorite. So.
That sounds about right. That's what Commerce was exactly to the number last Friday night. So be careful.
And you have Mount Zion traveling to Lincoln County. And the winner of the R. Murchie Gordon Lee game traveling to Washington Wilkes.
And this thing is acting a fool.
I was wondering where you're going.
It's sensitive, Benton.
Yeah, you can barely roll it, or it'll be on the next page. All right, jumping over to 5AA. We got a couple guys in here, DJ, and I seen Charles pop in down there. I know DJ knows what's going on at the top right there.
For sure. I've done a lot of research. RJ heard it this morning, but I kind of go over the same thing. You got four really good teams. In the 5AA, you got Harrison County, who's 8-1, 3-0 right now. Harrison County still has. If Harrison County loses to Bremen, it would set up a 3-way tie for the first place. I feel like Harrison County would get the first place nod, but the only way that they wouldn't win the region is if they lose to Bremen and a Callaway loss to Temple or Hurt. Then Bremen would win, presuming that Bremen wins out. Right now, you got in second place for me. I feel like Callaway is going to be your second place team. Actually, a little scored update on them at Temple. They're playing tonight. Callaway's leading 14-0 with 6:48 left in the first. They had two long touchdown passes. Also, the second play of the game, Callaway intercepted a pass from Cam Vaughn. But for them, they kind of control their own little destiny there with the home field advantage. They're heavily favored versus Temple and Herd. They're up 14-0 on Temple at the moment. A loss to either one of them would allow Bremen or Herd to slip into that 2 spot. Where you got for your 3 and 4 is kind of a mix up between Herd County and Bremen, which that's a big game that's going to be played tomorrow night. Herd County 4-4, 1-1 region play, number 29 in the state in Class 2A. If they win tomorrow and beat Callaway, they could finish as high as 2, locking in that home field advantage. But with a loss, they'll probably more likely head to Fannin County for the first round of playoffs. Well, up to Blue Ridge, the first round of playoffs. Bremen, which is 5-3, 1-1 in region play, number 21 in the Class 2A in the state. They still have a shot at the region title. Like I said earlier, they have to win tomorrow versus Herd County, and then next Friday at Harrison County, and then have help from Temple or Herd and knocking off Callaway. The dark horse would, of course, be Temple. If Temple could find a way to pull out the win tonight versus Callaway, they would need Herd County to beat Callaway also, and then that would lock in them for the 4th spot of the playoffs, and then send Callaway, the defending 2A state championship, home. right now for my playoff picture, the way I have it down is Harrison County with the 1 seed, hosting Pepperell for the first round. Callaway hosting Dade County. Herd, I have them beating Bremen tomorrow and locking in that 3 spot. I have them going to Chattooga, and then Bremen coming into the 4 spot, going to Fannin County. A little insider on Harrison County. They averaged 34 points a game so far, and they've only allowed 11.2 points a game this year. Last week Harrison County beat a Herd County team. A lot of people thought that game was going to be a lot closer than what it was, even though it was only 21-0. A lot of people thought it was going to be, a 7-point game, a hard-fought game. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Clay Hyatt. Man, he had 3 rushing touchdowns, 131 yards to go along with 18 tackles on defense, 4 tackle for losses, and a forced fumble, which really helped Harrison County kind of solidify that number 1 spot that you see on the board. But if you're looking at that race, like I said, with my prediction, as long as Harrison County can kind of hold out, and I do believe if Bremen loses Friday, Harrison County locks in the region title, which would mean that would be their first region championship in, I think, 40
forever, right?
Yeah, like 40, 50 something years. So, of course, I'll be at that Bremen Herd game. I'll be covering that game, even though I'm a Harrison County guy. Either way,
Let's get Charles in here, man, and get his take on the Herd Bremen game. Charles,
You got us?
How y'all doing? Yeah.
Ooh, I hear you.
Yeah, you sound good. You a little loud.
Okay.
There you go. You got it now.
Sorry for waking y'all up. How
What are you
y'all
saying?
doing
Need that
tonight?
place to sleep?
good. How do you see that Herd game playing out tomorrow night?
Yeah. I see a tough matchup. Bremen's always good. I don't care if they're having a good year, bad year, or if we're having a good year, bad year. It's always a good game against Bremen. And I see a good battle. I mean, I think we can come out on top on this. There's some matchups for us I think are a little rough. But overall, I can see us taking this. And I kind of gotta go with DJ's predictions on the lineup, the way it looks with Harrelson and Callaway, Herd, and Bremen. Seems like that's the safest bet at this point. And talking about Clay Hyatt, everybody talks about Clay running the ball and all that, but that kid on defense last week was just amazing. He looked good on offense, but that defense, him on defense was amazing last week. He lit it up.
What do you think about the possible playoff matchups? Don't most people have Herd County going to
Chattooga?
I think it'll either be Dade County or Chattooga, depending on the Chattooga Pepperell finish.
Yeah, we went up to Chattooga several years ago, back when I first started going to Herd games. I don't recall ever playing Dade since I've been involved. I daggum sure don't want to go back to Fannin County.
I hear you.
I think Dade's probably a little further than Fannin, isn't it? Not.
Nobody's further than Fannin County.
It wasn't the drive. It was that.
It was the
last
return
year
trip.
wasn't a great experience there.
Hey, for all the talk about Clay Hyatt in Region 5 AA, I feel like Fannin County's Seth Reese is a very similar mold to Clay Hyatt. Very similar.
Oh yeah.
He's carried a lot less of the load on defense since he became kind of the de facto QB1 on the offense. but he can get it done on both sides of the ball as well. And what both of those guys do that's really similar is they elevate the level of play all around them. All of their teammates play up for both of those guys.
And if I may
Yeah,
add,
that kid.
Go ahead, Charles.
Seth blew me away last year when we were up there in Penn, and he impressed me more than anybody out there. He was amazing to watch.
And to add on what you were saying about that was, and they're both two unselfish kids.
Yep.
With a big win versus Callaway, Clay, I can't remember if it was 4 or 5 rushing touchdowns that he had. I believe it was 5. Me and Clay, I knew him when I played. He played when I played. Me and him talking, and I was like, you had a great game tonight. And he was like, I only scored like 2 times, didn't I? So I mean, it's one of those. They're both players that they're team players, and they're true team players. They're unselfish, and they don't care about the individual stats. They care about the team.
I'll throw this in there as well. What
Jump.
Seth Reese is doing this season by switching up his jersey and taking off the number 5 and putting on Jackson Davis's number 23 jersey, just as a tribute to a teammate who was a stellar athlete himself and suffered a bit of a brain trauma, and now is just struggling for his health overall. And Seth Reese kind of dedicating his season to that guy was a pretty stand-up thing to do. And he's been, like you said, DJ, just really unselfish when he scores. There's no flamboyance, no rah-rah. He's just out there having fun and getting work done and enjoying himself. And Clay does a lot of the same stuff. I've seen both of these guys on the wrestling mat as well. And, it's just it just speaks volumes to their character.
Speaking of Seth, we'll jump on over here to Region 2A. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. You got something else?
Yeah, I was just gonna before we leave 5A, back on the Herd Bremen game. Yeah, the big question with Herd is what kind of offense we'll have tomorrow, even though we've had a week to work on it, because our starting QB got hurt last week in a non-football related injury. So we had a makeshift there at quarterback, moving Jonathan Eccles, a sophomore D1 wide receiver and defensive tackle, moving him to quarterback last week on about a day's notice. So at least we've had a week to adjust. So that could play a factor in that Bremen game.
Did you say wide receiver / defensive tackle?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
This kid's about 6'5".
I like this guy.
Hey,
He's
this man,
6'5", 230.
Hey, I've seen one of those before, and he played for the Falcons for a while. He played at Clemson. His name was Vic Beasley. Played some D tackle, D end, and wide receiver on offense.
6'5", 230 sophomore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
He had 97 yards rushing against Harrelson last week. He was 0 for 4 on passes, but that wasn't. Most of them were right on target, so it was more dropped balls.
So does Hurd expect their starting QB to be back this week or next week?
No. This week, no. I haven't heard the extent of his injury. But I know it's his ankle. And he was in a boot. I know he was in a boot yesterday. So I'm definitely not expecting him back this week. So hopefully we'll have him back by playoffs, at least, if not by Callaway.
Benton, you were rolling into 7AA. That Herd Chattooga matchup, or potential of it, would be a biggie.
Yeah, especially if they weren't able to get their starter back, that would make it a lot more interesting. But
And I will tell you that Chattooga is a 73.9% chance of getting that 2 seed.
And I will say that's I'm hoping that's correct, but it's a high number. If you ask me.
All right, Benton, why don't you throw out the number of times Chattooga has beaten Pepperell in the last 20 years?
I'm going to
Before we
say
go counting those eggs.
I'm going to say maybe once, twice.
I think three. I think it's maybe 3 times in the past 20 years. Only once in the past 10.
Yeah, recently. Yeah, but only one time recently. I know 2000. Maybe it was 3, I think, or 4. They might have beat them, and then just the other year we beat them.
Yeah. So, however Rick Hurst's season is going up there in Lindale, I can assure you that he is getting his team ready to play the Chattooga Indians.
Yeah. And if Pepperell was able to spring the quote unquote upset, then that throws a 3-way tie. And you want to explain the Region 7 AA tiebreaker?
Yeah, Region 7 AA has agreed to obviously the first standard for a 3-way tie is head to head, but the next one is a little unconventional and it's non-region wins. So the team with the most non-region wins would separate. And if there was still a 3-way tie, the team with the most overall wins would then move into the number 2 spot. So, or the lead spot of the 3-way tie. It could be for first, it could be for whatever. Yeah. So if there was a loss,
I think Dade would have the upper hand in that, correct?
Yes, Dade's overall record of 6-2 would, and they've won more than one non-region game, and I believe Chattooga and Pepperell both have only won a single non-region game. So that would give Dade the number 2 spot, and then after you break the 3-way tie, then it goes back to head-to-head between the 2 remaining teams. So Chattooga in one game could drop from hosting a playoff to barely making it, and instead making that trip right on up to Haralson County.
So it's a big game, to say the least.
It's a bit of a big game.
Hey, Levi.
Yeah.
On 7-2A's tiebreak, does an out-of-state win still count?
Yes, because they don't say out of state. They just say non-conference. I asked that specific question.
I don't think it mattered, though, did it?
Yeah, and that wouldn't matter because Chattooga only has one non-conference win. And I see what you're saying because Dade County's both of their non-conference wins are in Alabama and Tennessee.
Yeah.
How about this one for a little fun though? I had to sit down and figure this one out when I was doing these numbers.
All right.
If Coosa runs the table, beats Fannin and Pepperell. All right, Lee.
You get too much time on your hand, Lawrence.
All right. If Coosa beats those 2, and Pepperell loses, obviously to Coosa last game of the season, and they lose to Chattooga, Model, Pepperell, and Coosa will all be tied for that 4th spot, and Model would get the nod at 4. How about that, huh?
Wow.
I'm sure that's all going to come to an end by first quarter Friday night at Coosa. But
Yep.
I just muted Lawrence for everyone. I'm just messing with you. No, but I mean the way I see it is I think how the numbers see it. Fannin, I believe, is going to be head and shoulders above the rest. Dade County, they I guarantee you they think they still have a say-so in it, which they might. But
I can tell you this: they're huge Pepperell Dragon fans this week. Huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm gonna go Fannin, Chattooga, and then what would it be? It would be Dade Pepperell. That'd be just the way it's lined up right now.
Yeah, that's how the math stacks up.
So what about if it finished that way? What about the matchups? You know, we talked about Herd traveling to Chattooga. Fannin would get Bremen in that case.
Yeah, so if it matched up like we talked about it'd be Haralson hosting Pepperell, Callaway hosting Dade, Herd to Chattooga, and Bremen to Fannin.
Now, I don't know about the other regions around the state, guys, but this matchup between 7AA and 5AA is the most likely potential for one region, all 4 teams to sweep the other region. It's still a bit of a long shot, but it is the greatest potential because the 1, 2, and 3 in Region 5 AA are all contenders. They're all powerhouse schools, and they've 1, 2, and 3 very well would be favorites going into their game.
Yeah, I actually pulled up the Cal Prep stats on it. You'd have 3 underdogs. This is all, 3 of the 7 AA teams would be underdogs, and Fannin would be an 8-point favorite over Bremen. That's about as close as you can get.
And Bremen, Bremen is a AAA type of a team. They're built just like Fannin County is. I wouldn't be that surprised if Bremen went in there and shocked them. I would be surprised.
I would lean Fannin's way in that one, especially at Fannin with the voice of Tim Tao on the loudspeaker.
Yeah, all they need to do up in Blue Ridge is just fire off that cannon a couple times will scare them away.
Yeah. I will say, though, that the cannon at Pepperell is louder than the Fannin cannon.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I wanted to take away that fire-breathing dragon they had over at Pepperell when Piggins played them a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
It's still there. It hasn't gotten as much use this year as everyone expected. DJ Rogers has, teams have really just stacked the box against DJ and kind of been able to really slow the entire Pepperell attack, and it's worked pretty effectively. And Chattooga suffered a little bit of that last weekend when their rushing attack was kind of limited to just LaShawn Lester. Fannin was able to just blitz 2 linebackers every play and completely shut him down. I think he had less than 20 yards rushing. It was 18 total yards of offense for the Indians in the first half. 18 total yards.
Yeah, and the yards that we did get in the game was mop up yards.
Yeah, I don't even count the fourth quarter yards.
Yeah.
I got to ask the potluck guys, man, if they still have the tiger over there with the moving eyes.
Oh yeah, that's one of our favorite things. The lights only get lit up when the Tigers are playing at Ray Lamb Stadium. Green light bulbs.
All righty, we're gonna flip over to 6 AAA.
All right, we're still up in the air.
30-team region.
Yeah.
The largest region in all of GHSA, 9 teams. We're still up in the air here with where we're going to be sitting come playoff time. I think the 3 and 4 seed could be decided this Friday night between Adairsville and North Murray, who ends up where. That 1 and 2 seed will not be decided until the final game of the season between Rockmart and Ringgold, and both of them look to be undefeated in region play when they meet. There is still an outside chance that Sonoraville moves into the playoffs. It's going to be tough. They're going to have to, they would need help. They would need either Adairsville or North Murray to lose out, and Sonoraville would have to win out. And that's going to be very tough for Sonoraville because Friday night, tomorrow, they're going to play Ringgold. And if you go back to last season, Ringgold and Ringgold and Sonoraville were both at home during the playoffs at 5-5. Sonoraville lost a couple games. The reason Ringgold was at home at 5-5 instead of 6-4 in the playoffs was because of that Sonoraville team. So this is a game I think Ringgold's really looking to play tomorrow night against Sonoraville. So if Ringgold wins that tomorrow, that will eliminate Sonoraville. And then we'll know our 4, and then we'll know who the 1 and 2 is next Friday when Ringgold travels to Rockmart.
If you don't have a game to go to, I would.
But we can ask Lawrence. We're pretty sure. Yeah, I was gonna say Ringgold and Rockmart have locked in the 1 and 2 spots.
Locked in at 1 and 2, and there's a 97% chance that Adairsville and North Murray have locked in at 3 and 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a 97% chance that 3 and 4 seed's going to be decided tomorrow night.
Yeah. Yeah, that Adairsville North Murray game is huge. It's going to decide that those two spots. We'll wait till next Friday to decide the 1 and 2, but those two could be decided tomorrow.
And do we know what region they travel to? I hadn't looked that up yet.
The potluck football
guys
guys.
are going to let us know about AAA right here.
8 AAA, the potluck football guys.
And 6 AAA is almost in the same position that 7 AA is in, because they have the potential to get swept. Lockmarty's the only favorite going in, and they're only a 7-point favorite over Stevens right now.
Yeah.
Hey, Lawrence, you got a little interference. It's kind of hard to hear you right now. I don't know what's causing it, but it sounds like it's cleared up now. But
It's just your beard. It happens. It's just your beard.
oh yeah, it sounds better now.
Is it good now? All right.
Yeah, that sounds a lot better. Anything else on 6 AAA, Chris, or I will flip over to the potluck guys?
Yeah, and this is who 6 AAA will be matched up against is 8 AAA. And it's an absolute buzzsaw of a region. I think, I mean, you could really put all 4 of these teams from 8 AAA in the top 10. This region is that good. I think the whole region's loaded.
I think we talked about earlier. You said the Monroe area may have 2 running backs over 1,000 yards. Is that what
they've got 2 1,000-yard rushers. They're a heavy rush team. I'll let the potluck football guys take over.
Yeah, and we kind of compare this region to a region over in y'all's neck of the woods. Is that region with Blessed Trinity and Calhoun and Cartersville, kind of all in that same region? Yeah, that's kind of like this. That's over here. This is that region. I mean, you got Monroe sitting right now at number 3 in the state. Oconee's at number 4 in the state. Hart's at number 9 in the state. And like you said, I mean, Stevens has only lost twice, and it was in region. I mean, they were undefeated going into region play. I know there's still some stuff up in the air over in 6 AAA, but this one, as far as the 4 teams that'll be there, this one's decided. I mean, East Jackson and Franklin. I mean, there may be a percentage chance for East Jackson to sneak in there, but
it's not going to happen.
That's thinking pretty highly of them if they could get in there. But yeah, I mean, you got Monroe, and they had a huge win last week on the road at Oconee County. Oconee County lost last year in the state championship. Great game, went into overtime, maybe even double overtime, but they were sort of looked at as a favorite going into this year to win state, at least if get there, if not win. And Monroe knocked them off on the road, and it's the first time they'd lost at home in 20 games or something like that. So a big win for Monroe. And like you said, they do have 2 1,000-yard rushers. One of them is the quarterback. So like I was talking about Dalen Cobb at Washington Wilkes, their quarterback runs more than he throws. I think he's got over 1,200 yards rushing, and he's thrown for like 900 or something. So he's a dual.
That'd be Stroughter?
Yeah, it's Stroughter. Yep. He's a good player, and their other running backs, Alan Jones, and he's over 1,000 yards. And so they do like to run the ball more than they can throw it, but they're capable at both. While we're on Monroe, I did want to mention just a brief aside is Kevin Reach is the head coach there, and he hasn't been on the sidelines for at least a few games, or at least one game. I know for sure he wasn't there at Oconee County. His wife, Amy, had an aneurysm earlier this month, and she's been in the hospital in critical condition in Atlanta. So definitely emotional win for them last week to go on the road and beat Oconee. He wasn't on the sideline, but I know those kids were fired up to play for them. And, obviously our thoughts and prayers are with their family during this time. So I know you know about Oconee. He watched Oconee earlier this year. I can let him speak on Oconee County.
Yeah, we had a bye week at Commerce, so a few guys from our area went down and watched Oconee play Thomasville, and it's a top 10 matchup from AAA and AA, and it was a great game, 4-quarter game. But Oconee County is a complete team. They've got a good defense. They've got a really strong offensive line. They have 2 guys that are major college prospects. First, you want to start off with Jake Johnson. That's Brad Johnson's second son. What's his brother name that's over at LSU?
His brother's been playing quarterback at LSU a little bit. I forget his name.
I can't remember his first name.
But
I just watched him Saturday.
He's been playing quarterback at LSU, and that's where Jake's heading too.
But he is freakishly large. Like when out there on the football field with high schoolers, he takes one stride against a cornerback is like 3 strides for that corner. And Thomasville had corners that were 6'1", 6 foot 6'1" guys, and they just couldn't do anything with him. He looks like a horse on the field. And he's
Max Johnson, the LSU guy, by the way.
Yeah,
Max Johnson.
But Date, he's got 625 yards from the tight end position, receiving 8 touchdowns. The other guy that jumps off the field for Oconee County is Whit Weeks. He's a linebacker, but he also plays receiver and running back. But he does special teams. He plays long snapper. He's on the kickoff coverage team. Wears number 4 on the field. But he is an old school thumper.
He's a ball player.
He runs straight downhill. He actually just got offered by Oklahoma yesterday. He has really great pursuit, and when he hits, it's just very violent. He doesn't hardly miss a tackle. So those were the 2 guys that jumped off the field for me. And then they have another good quarterback, Jacob Wright. He's got about 1,500 yards passing on the year at 63% completion rate. And then C.J. Jones is their top running back. He's got 10 touchdowns on the year. He looks small on the field next to Jake Johnson, but he's about 6 foot tall. Good shifty back. But those 2 teams right there, they deserve to be in the top 2, top 3 in the state. And then you go down to Hart County over in Hartwell.
I don't want to discredit, these last 2, but because we thought Hart we kind of had a feeling that somebody was going to be able to knock Oconee County off, just because how good this region is. And we thought it was going to be Hart County coming into it. Hart County was rolling. They were just like Stevens. I mean, they were undefeated, going into region play.
Everybody was 6-0.
Yeah, all the top 4 teams in this region were undefeated before region started. Hart County, they had some good wins over some really solid South Carolina teams. I mean, they're all the way over at Lake Hartwell, so I know y'all probably know at least where that is. And they play just about as many South Carolina schools as they do, Georgia schools before they get into region. But it's unfortunate that they dropped that one because they're really good too. They could be a top 5 team. I mean, just looking at their results, and they got a good back. He's not getting a whole lot of looks. I don't know why, but his name is J.L. Lackey, better known around these parts as Cadillac. He's a good back. He's 6 foot, over 200 pounds, and runs 4.5. So he's got over 1,000 yards. I think Hart's probably going to get the 3rd. Monroe still has to host Hart County last game of the season. So if you're in 6 AAA and you're watching this, that's the game you kind of want to look at to see where Monroe might get picked off. Hart's good enough to beat them, and that could change some things, whether you're going to Oconee wins the region or Monroe. I don't know what the tiebreaker is off the top of my head. But, and then you can't sleep on Stevens. I mean, they've kind of solidified their 4th spot. They lost a tough one to Hart County last week by 2, where J.L. Lackey didn't play. But that doesn't mean that they're not a good ball club. Like you said, they could maybe, I don't know how good, Rock Martin, Ringgold, I know it's going to come down to them too. But, if you're either of those teams and you're hosting Stevens, you're going to have to show up and play against those guys. They got a lot of really good juniors. I think they might be one year away. But they're a solid club too.
And they only lost by 10 to Monroe area.
Yep, they opened the season, at home against Monroe, and that game was close. That's one of the ones we covered that next week, and it was close all the way until the 4th quarter. So it was back and forth.
And Hart beat Stevens last week 9-7.
Yeah, by 2.
Knocker.
Yeah, that was without Lackey. You said. Do you guys know anything about North Hall? Because I think Stevens County beat North Hall earlier in the season, 42-0.
Yeah,
and, I that was a bit of a surprise for me. 42-0 over North Hall. Was there any other circumstances into that game, or was Stevens County, 8-3-8 just that good? Because I know North Hall is competing for that region title in 7-3-8.
Yeah, I saw those standings
They're
earlier today.
4-0.
The 7 AAA, they were on top, and I think they lost to both. Not only Stevens, I think they lost to Hart too. And I think both of them weren't really close. I don't know about the circumstances, but I can tell you, 8 AAA is definitely that good.
Yeah, I know the Hart North Hall game was fairly close, within a touchdown or two. I just think the Stevens County get 42-0 game. I thought that was kind of off a little bit. I guess
It seems like an outlier.
yeah, that seems kind of odd.
Yeah.
But I mean, just looking at the whole 8 AAA region, it's just a buzzsaw. I mean, all 4 teams I think could be ranked in the top 10 in the state. So it presents a lot of tough matchups for 6 AAA.
And while Rockmart's only loss is to Rome, in all honesty, that Stevens team looks legit enough to come in there and compete with a Rockmart team. And I don't know, Ringgold has been pretty one-dimensional. They've got a fantastic running back, and they've got a solid defense. But we'll see what they hold up against Rockmart. I agree that is a very high chance of a sweep right there. And to say Rockmart's in a division that's going to get swept.
Is this Temple Callaway live right now?
28-0 before the half.
Yeah, it was 21-0. No, 14-0 at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, and it was 28-0 with 3 minutes still remaining. So
yeah. And then Dalton's playing right now too. If I'm not mistaken, that's the varsity. They're playing Paulding County. They're up 15-0 in the first.
Dalton has been my Jekyll and Hyde team of the year up here. They are just totally Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, I think my Jekyll and Hyde team from up here is Murray County. They go from losing 75-0 to scoring 35 on North Murray or
20.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a North Murray versus Murray. That's a game that's a rivalry game where it's very hard hitting. I think the hardest hitting games each one of those teams will play will be against each other every year.
Yeah, I'll go through our 6.
Now, I heard that the quarterback had so many passing touchdowns they put in all the backups. That's what I heard. I didn't see the game.
No, Seth Griffin for North Murray had 7 touchdowns that game. I think I think in the past 3 games he's thrown for 1,000 yards and 16 touchdowns. So
that's without his number 1 receiver.
Yeah, it's without his number 1 receiver, Michael McDade. They lost him to the I think Michael McDade was the best receiver in 6 AAA in the season. I think what he did.
He was big. He was elusive. He was fast, and he had just great hands.
Yeah, he was 6'4", and he presented some matchup problems for every other defensive back, even with Jorian Haynes, who I think would probably end up in the SEC. I still think he would have had problems with McDade. Do we
just looking at these matchups here, do we expect anybody besides Rockmart to have a legitimate shot at a win?
No.
You never know. But I think 8 AAA is very good. I'm just going to leave it at that.
I think Hart County could slip up.
They could, especially that's a long trip from over there, and as good as they are and as talented as they are, they
can always be up and down.
They're kind of hot and cold. Yeah. It's kind of been their thing forever.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. They've always had studs that come out of there, D1 players, but then they'll lose to some.
They'll have a 3-6 season.
Never lose to, and they kind of do that sometimes. So,
well, the 2 teams, if they end up a 3, they'll be traveling to Rockmart or Ringgold. Both of these teams are loaded with athletes.
Yeah,
Ringgold has got a ton of seniors too. They're loaded with
and they can run the ball on anybody.
So
that could be a sleeper game for Hart County. They could show up.
They might
really flat.
They might be favorites in that game, but I could see the 2 seed out of 6 triple, whoever it may be, beating Hart at home, especially.
Yeah.
Lawrence, I heard the word favorite. Lawrence, what you got?
Yeah, the favorite, man. I'll tell you the matchups according to the computer. You have Stevens County going to Rockmart. Rockmart would be an 8-point favorite.
Hmm.
Hart at Ringgold. Hart 10-point favorite.
Whew.
You've got Daresville going to Oconee. Oconee would be a 24-point favorite. And then North traveling to Monroe area, and they'd be a 25-point underdog.
Okay.
5-point.
Now, in these two regions, they met 2 years ago, and 6 AAA and 8 AAA are much different than what everybody remembers from 2 years ago. So, 2 years ago, Jefferson was the 1 seed in 8 AAA, and they're now in 4A.
And they could be going up again.
Yeah.
Classification, all the divisors changing. Jefferson might be on the move again.
Yeah, and I remember Monroe area, they were the 4 seed, and North Murray was the 1 seed in 2019, and they came over here and played.
I'm still old enough to remember when Jefferson was a single A school. That wasn't that long
We
ago.
are
either,
too.
Hey, that's when we were big rivals, man. Commerce and Jefferson, that was it.
Commerce and Jefferson were both single A schools when we were in school, and we're in our 20s.
Wow, that moves quick.
It does.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember the wrestling rivalry that was between those two schools. Harsh.
Yeah.
Well, the football one's even worse. So you can imagine.
RJ, take us through 7 quad A here.
Yeah, obviously the main player is Cedartown. Cedartown's got Central this week. At Central, look for Cedartown to keep rolling there. Heritage played LFO last week, and unfortunately, Max Preps flubbed up and counted that as a region win. That is obviously not a region win. So they're still 2-1 in region play. Pickens is going to go there this week. Tomorrow, it'll be senior night at Heritage, so it's going to be a tough ball game. Pickens has played Heritage. This will be the 13th meeting since 2010 when these two schools started playing each other. Pickens has played at Heritage 5 times, and it's 2-3 at Heritage. So they've had a tough go of it at Heritage the last few years. So it's gonna be a big ball game for them. Northwest has got Rislin. Excuse me. The Northwest has got Rislin. I expect Northwest to keep rolling in that one. Rislin's coach. I don't know if you guys heard, but last week Rislin's coach resigned after 3 years of being the head coach, being there for I think 24, 27 years total. Resigned last week, so things are sounding a little rocky up there in Rossville. So I think Northwest is going to win that one handily. Pickens, I think, has a shot against Heritage. I think Pickens is a little bit of a favorite against Heritage, but I see it. I see it more as a pick'em game. It's a toss up, really. So I think if Pickens can limit the mistakes and be a little bit more disciplined, I think they can come away with that one. And then that sets up a big game with them at Northwest next week. But Pickens is definitely in it. In the playoff chase, they can end up with the 3 seed, maybe the 4 seed. If there's maybe a possibility they end up with a 2 seed still.
Yeah. The math says there's a 13% chance they still get the 2 seed somehow.
Yeah, they've got to win out. Heritage still has Cedartown left on their schedule. So if Pickens can win out and Heritage lose 2 ball games and Pickens can beat Northwest, they got a shot. So a lot of football to be played in these next 2 weeks for sure.
If Pickens can get a win this week, man, that would be huge because you would expect Heritage to fall to Cedartown the last week of the season. I think a win this week might put them in the playoffs, at least at the 4 seed.
Yeah, definitely what they're probably drilling this week at practice. Pickens had a bye week last week, as most of the region did.
Mhm.
Only Northwest and Heritage had ball games, and that was out of region games. So Pickens has had 2
And
weeks to get ready for this.
Northwest already holds the tiebreaker over Heritage.
Yeah.
So Northwest picks up the win, an easy win at Ridgeland, and then the win over Pickens, and they lock in the number 2.
Yeah,
because they've already beat Heritage and Central.
Yeah, and one thing Northwest and Heritage have over Pickens is a win over Central.
Yep.
And so Pickens definitely needs to win these last 2 ball games if they want to get in for sure.
Who does Central finish up with? I'm gonna pull their schedule right quick.
Central's got Cedartown this week, and then they finish up with Ridgeland.
Yeah, the Lions have a 53% chance of getting that 4 seed. I guess that all depends on this game this weekend with Pickens. If they can win that game against Pickens, they're locked into the 4.
I think Central's picked to finish 2 and 3 in the region. So with losses to Northwest, Heritage, and Cedartown.
Right, and Pickens, I guess, is picked to go 1 and 4. With losses to Central and Northwest.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, this one's a huge one this
huge
week.
one for Pickens.
Yeah, Pickens is one of the only teams that we've covered so far from the Northwest that Commerce has played. And I tell you, we were impressed with them, and they were well coached. We went up to Pickens, and that was our first time in that stadium. Nice facility up there, and we were treated really well up there. So I guess we're pulling for Pickens. Hopefully they can get into the playoffs.
Yeah, they got a real good quarterback. Throw that ball.
A young kid. He's only a sophomore, and he is good.
We were impressed with Pickens for sure.
They picked our defense apart.
Yeah, they lit us
passes.
up.
we ain't never seen the ball thrown that much.
You're blocking up here. We'll throw that ball around. But hey, guys, we're gonna sign off. This is our we record our podcast tonight, so I think we've contributed from Northeast Georgia. We appreciate nice meeting all y'all, and let it if you're doing a Thursday night, we're gonna be here recording our podcast. And if you want, anybody listening or any of y'all want to follow us, it's our name right here, Potluck Football on Twitter. If you want to keep up,
we'll put your link down in the description also, man. We'll get some people following you there.
Yeah,
nice to meet you guys.
With Northeast Georgia, Athens area. So yeah, give us a shout. We look forward to coming back. Appreciate y'all having us.
Thank y'all.
All right,
Appreciate you joining us.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, talking about Sam Stryker, sophomore kid. Want to get this right. He's 87 to 136 on the season for 1,316 yards. He's averaging 188 yards per game. He's got 13 touchdowns on the season against 4 interceptions. So he's done.
How do you think he compares to his brother at this stage? Sam was a big quarterback.
Sam was a big quarterback, especially his senior year. I think that the younger brother is ahead of the growth curve of where Sam was.
Sam's the I think the better passer of the two, but CJ was the runner. They would bring him in when he was a freshman for run packages, and he played defense a little bit, but then when he focused on the QB spot, he had an arm on him as well. He had some good targets, and Sam's got some good targets as well. But I think Sam's a little ahead of the curve as far as the throwing.
Maturity. Yeah, I think just pocket presence and maturity. Benton and I saw him come into Chattooga. I guess it was last year, wasn't it? And Chattooga jumped out real quick and put up 28 points in the first half. But their coach made some really dynamic adjustments. The Indians didn't score again, and Stryker just steadily moved the ball. And as a freshman, you could tell it was a real growing experience for him because that third and fourth quarter, he just settled in and moved the ball really efficiently, really disciplined. I liked him.
Yeah, I think Grant Myers there at Pickens has done a real good job his first year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he has, and I think what can be contributed to Sam's growth as well as Aaron Nance, the offensive coordinator, the QB coach, came in from Grayson. So that was a pretty big hire there for.
Oh
for
wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, for Coach Myers to bring in a guy from a nationally known high school who was their offensive coordinator. down there. So Coach Nance has helped Sam's growth as well. Sam's finding his targets pretty well in Devin Hand and Isaiah Williams and Marcus Pike and Tom Frechette. They've got weapons all over the field.
Their game with Chattooga was canceled this year due to COVID. How about his size, RJ? Is he getting any bigger? He was a little undersized his freshman year.
He's getting bigger, but he's still a little bit slender. He's got obviously some room to grow, but still he's 15, 16 years old. He's sophomore, so he's going to get taller. He's going to get a little bigger as time goes on. So he'll fill out, and by the time they're juniors and seniors, that whole group, especially coming in with the 8th grade group that just won the Mountain League championship last week.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about, because Northwest has a lot of seniors. Northwest is going to be a whole different team next year, and Heritage is going to be a whole different team next year. If Pickens climbs the ladder, they could jump up there, pretty high.
And who knows if they're even in this region next year? So with all the things going on, they could easily move down to AAA and come back with Gilmer and Lumpkin and White and all them. So. Who knows what that'll end up with, but that's a couple months away. So
I was going to say, I see a region release show coming out.
Yep.
Yeah. We got something to talk about in January.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We're all going to have to take a trip down to Atlanta and just cover the GHSA meeting for region alignment.
Boom.
That'd be
That's
awesome.
an idea right there.
Yeah.
Will it go to the bar before and after?
We might need it to deal with those guys.
Oh, geez.
Who does 7 quad A?
Rusty Manziel can get us in.
7 quad A. Who they match up against?
5A.
4A.
They're from the South Atlanta area, Hampton and Lua,
Fayetteville, and
man, I've never. Well, I haven't heard of them, but I don't know anything about those teams.
Yeah, they're all down by the racetrack down there in South Atlanta.
Yeah,
A lot of you talking about traveling. A lot of gas mileage being logged in those travels.
Well, and once you cross inside that loop, that 285 loop, all of those city of Atlanta rules and COVID regulations kick in, and they're still real tight about that.
Probably no bands, halfway.
No bands.
Stands,
You have to,
garbage.
Yeah, limited fans. Some of them even you had to have COVID tests or vaccination cards. And, there's some crazy rules down there.
wow. Research that before you go.
Mm-hmm.
I'll throw this out there before we switch over, man. But I've been to one game at Pickens in the last 4 years, and it was the only game I've seen that I've covered where 3 guys rushed for over 200 yards in the same game. Pickens and Lafayette. It was crazy, man.
Was that? Oh man, who was the Lafayette rusher? The running back from last year.
Jamario
Clements and the quarterback.
Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, Jalen Ramsey. They had over 200 apiece, and then the quarterback for Pickens had over 205 touchdowns. I think the final was RJ, like 55-48 or something.
Yeah, it was back and forth.
It was foggy. It was probably like 40 degrees, and
Lafayette jumped out to a quick lead in that one too. Pickens had to come back, and he ended up with a big win.
Yeah, this is the buzzsaw of 5A right here, buddy. Whew.
Yeah.
This is set after tomorrow night, I think, with Cartersville and Calhoun squaring off. You'll have your
you talk about some national media eyes and some big time recruiters in the state of Georgia. They are going to be at that game.
I mean, I think the way it is right now, I think Cass will get jumped. They'll go to the 4 seed. Cartersville, Calhoun, Blessed Trinity, Cass.
Yeah,
that's the way I got.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised that the computer gave Cass a 20% chance of winning tomorrow night.
Really?
Against Blessed Trinity?
Against Blessed Trinity. I mean, 20 is not great, but I mean, it's more than I would have thought going.
Yeah, because the Blessed Trinity's game against Calhoun was just a slugfest, get down in the mud fight, and I mean, literally, it was a fight. But I think Blessed Trinity should be at the number 3 spot. They should be favored against. I don't know who they're traveling to, but I would assume they'd be favored over a number 2.
They'll be hitting a number
Yeah,
5,
they probably
5A.
are. Yeah, Region 5. Yeah.
Yeah, this is your matchups right now. This is what it's got in the playoffs. Cass will be going to St. Pius. Blessed Trinity to Decatur. Southwest DeKalb will be at Calhoun, and Lithonia will be at Cartersville.
Yeah, Lithonia is the only one that I've seen anything about, and they're not going to stand a chance against Cartersville.
No. It'll be a few rounds deep before Cartersville or maybe even Calhoun sees anybody that's going to play them. It's Cartersville. What's the spread on the Cartersville Calhoun? What are they favored by?
9.5.
And Blessed Trinity or Cass is going to St. Pius. St. Pius should be an easy favorite there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think St. Pius is like a 17-point favorite over Cass first round. But yeah, I think Cartersville covers that 9.5 tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think anytime that you can kind of rub it in the face of Calhoun, they're going to want to. So
here we go. What backs y'all's decision on Cartersville beating Calhoun?
Ooh,
I don't know if it is.
It's the running backs, Brent. It's the running backs. No, I don't know if any of y'all seen his boy Caden Williams run the football,
awesome.
but he's another youngster that Calhoun just keeps pulling up, and just a hammer of a running back there. I think it's the defense. Cartersville's defense has just been more consistent. And really, that's my only reason for leaning towards them. I actually think Calhoun has the more explosive offense, but Cartersville is a little more balanced, and their defense is just really consistent.
I think that you got comparative games that you've already seen. You can't always go by this because you never know what happened on any given night. But, Cartersville holding Blessed Trinity to 21 and scored 49 on them, and then Calhoun being right there in a battle.
Now, I do think that a lot of that was because Cartersville played Blessed Trinity after Calhoun had just took the air out of them.
I got you.
Yeah, and I do think that was a big part of it. So
it is in Cartersville, correct?
And
it is in Cartersville.
You got to deal with the weather there. That's always hurricane season down there.
Yeah, and Brent, as far as the Cartersville defensive backs being able to shut down both the run and the pass, that's what they've been balanced at. Blessed Trinity has, Haynes, the little kid Haynes, and they were able to really corral that kid and stop their passing game at the same time. So that balance and consistency is what I think puts Cartersville a little over the top. Now, that's not to say I wouldn't be surprised. It's a 9-point spread. If Calhoun wins that, it's not going to just shock me,
Yeah, I have to tell Brent, too, that I am pulling for Calhoun because I picked Calhoun to win this region preseason, so I'm going to look like I know what I'm talking about.
That's been a long time ago, man.
Yeah. Hey, now I won't lie. I thought Cartersville was going to suffer a bigger drop off. I actually had Calhoun and Blessed Trinity taking 1 and 2 preseason because Blessed Trinity coming back with that little Haynes kid. I thought they were going to be a machine on offense. So I actually saw Cartersville coming in at the 3 spot, and Cartersville has, really blown me away.
I'm kind of liable to pull for Calhoun in this one because I don't have fond memories of going up against Cartersville when they were fortunate enough to be in our region. So, we got to see some guy. I don't know if y'all have heard of him, Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I think so.
You heard of him? Whatever happened to that kid, I don't know. But yeah. So I like you said, I wouldn't be surprised at all if I look up a score in Calhoun that beating Cartersville.
The problem with this region is, have you seen who they match up week 2 in the playoffs?
No.
They get Ware County and Warner Robins.
And if nobody's seen Ware County play, the Gators down there, they look like a college team. And that Cartersville and Calhoun aside, Ware County looks like a college football team, like an SEC team.
Yeah.
So I see that Cartersville's leading tackler is a Forrestall, Miles Forrestall. Is that?
Yeah, that's his brother. That's his little brother.
That's what I figured.
But yeah, so the team that loses tomorrow night will probably end up going to Ware County second round, and the team that wins tomorrow night will host Warner Robins second round. So.
And that's the Blessed Trinity Cass game?
No, that's the Calhoun Cartersville game.
That's the 1-2 seeds.
Yeah, the 1 and 2 in the second round.
Yeah, of course, in the second round. Yeah. So you definitely want to win that one. Whew.
That might be your state title games right there.
Ware County beat Warner Robins.
Yep.
Yeah, Ware County beat Warner Robins this year, but either one of those teams are just, they're on a whole different plane to me.
How about this one? I don't know if I should show this or not, but I'm gonna put it up here.
Go ahead. Let's see.
How about that one?
Oh, geez.
I know.
Hey,
they had a rough
you know what?
game
You know what,
last
Brent?
year.
There won't be any against the Calhoun players. Never. That wouldn't happen.
Oh boy. Hey, look, South Paulding's at the top of this region. Somebody called me crazy.
Oh,
You
Well, just
crazy? No.
just like everybody predicted, South Paulding is going to win the region.
They win the region. You need to go play the lottery.
How about you have you have 5 teams that are still mathematically possible to win the top seed in that region?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
South Paulding plays the East Paulding. They should get a win this week. Run them to 5-1.
Are they playing tonight?
No, Dalton and Paulding are playing.
Yes, South Paulding and East Paulding. No. Who's playing Thursday night?
I know.
Dalton.
It's Dalton.
Because Dalton's up 22-7 right
They're
now.
both playing tonight. South Paulding's playing East Paulding tonight too.
That's what I think. I was looking on Max Prep, but all it says is in progress. It doesn't give me a score.
Let me see if I can find that. I got a few little backstage areas I can search.
Just a crazy division. I still think Rome and Carrollton are your 2 best teams out of this division. I think that Rome and Carrollton have just kind of grown too much and moved too far along. But South Paulding does have the numbers, and if that 3-way tie shapes up,
does anybody know the tiebreaker on that?
Yeah. Rome, Carrollton, and South Paulding is how it finish if it's a 3-way tie.
I think Rome square off last game. No. Rome beat Carrollton.
Yeah, they use that plus minus 15 rule, which I think is the best tiebreaker out there.
Wait, how would Rome win a tiebreaker when they lost to South Paulding?
Well, because Rome lost South Paulding, so they -3 there because they lost by 3 points. But then they beat Dalton. Not Dalton. They beat Carrollton by more than 15, so they get 15 points there. So they're plus 12.
I don't care how much they beat Dalton by. They lost to South Paulding.
to Carrollton.
Carrollton.
Oh, okay.
So then Carrollton lost to Rome by more than 15, so they lost 15 there. But then they beat South Paulding by more than 15, so they even out at 0. So Rome would have 12.
I still don't.
Carrollton would have 0.
Dalton's winning 22-7.
My problem with the plus 15 rule is that number one, it encourages people to run up the score, obviously. And number 2 is you just catching somebody on a bad day. I don't know. That one gets me. But not to say Region 7 AA is any better.
My problem with the plus 15 rule is in that situation you're saying Rome will finish higher than South Paulding, and they lost to South Paulding. I don't have anything against Rome or any of the other teams.
Well, see, the thing is,
the field's got to matter.
See, the thing about it is they use
what South Paulding did.
Yeah, they use the plus minus 15 to break the 3-way tie, and then once they have the one team, then they go head to head. So Carrollton South Paulding game, since Carrollton beat South Paulding, Carrollton would get the 2.
Yeah, Carrollton beat South Paulding 40-13, but lost to Rome 45-27.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I mean the odds say it's going to be Rome, Carrollton, South Paulding, and Douglas in at the 4. I mean,
who does South Paulding play next Friday or tomorrow?
They're
play
playing
right now. They're playing East Paulding.
Paulding right now.
They're playing East Paulding today, and I haven't been able to find that yet.
How about this one?
Kelly Fountain.
No, I do not have. I already said that. I do not have anything against Rome. It's just South Paulding. To me, I called it out a couple weeks ago, and they just kind of.
Well,
Kelly's on my side.
I have nothing against Rome.
Talked about South Paulding was because back 2 weeks ago, we was talking about what they had coming up, and they had the easiest schedule to finish up with South Paulding taking on Paulding County, East Paulding, and then Alexander.
That's the reason why I said South Paulding, just because of the schedule, the easiest schedule remaining, and they had the upset win against Rome. I think Rome's a better team. Honestly.
How about the prize?
But Rome's upcoming schedule was Alexander,
Douglas County this Friday,
and Douglas County. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, to me, is
South
Douglas
Paulding-
County really a 7-1 team? I mean,
Well, then Carrollton finishes at Alexander. So, no, they host Alexander. So,
Don't get me wrong, fella. I hope Rome wins it all. I mean, I'll cheer for Rome just like I could cheer for anybody. But
how about the prize over finishing first in 5-6A? Is you get to host Creekview, which is the number 9 team in the state right now.
how does that happen? How are they the 4 seed, the number 9 team?
You got Johns Creek and Cambridge up there in front of them. I mean, all teams that are ranked higher.
Wow.
yeah, once it gets to 6A, other than Rome, I don't follow them a whole lot. So I see, Creekside and those teams in the newspaper, but I don't follow them enough to know who their players are and what they got in the, in the arsenal.
Oh, that Rome defensive line's nasty. I mean, I've seen them a few times, but
Yeah, Green and them.
Yeah, I think the best thing that happened to Rome and Carrollton and Harrelson this year was losing games they weren't supposed to. I'm sure you and Mr. Burdick hope Chattooga has the same fate tomorrow night, huh? After getting beat by Fannin like they did, come out and just put the hammer down tomorrow night, huh?
Yeah, I haven't. I didn't get a chance to get back. Actually, y'all signed off 2 minutes after I got on my computer the other night. I was going to give you a little rundown of that.
Yeah, I actually watched the Region 7 AA sports broadcast last weekend, as far as I could anyway. I had to turn it off about halftime, but
it was a little painful.
Yeah,
he got off right as I signed on. I seen his face, and then it went blank.
Benton, I caught a lot of hell on that one, on that broadcast for being too anti-Chattooga. I was anti-Chattooga. By the commenter said I should say something nice about their boys.
Well, I didn't get.
They had 2 yards. They had 2 yards.
I didn't get a chance to comment on it, but I was going to say I think he's just calling it like he sees it. I mean, that's not. Yeah. I mean, you're not trying to be demeaning against the kids. I mean,
no, I was never demeaning. I was basically just saying what they're doing is not working.
Yeah.
And calling it that Fannin was just dominating the line of scrimmage, and they did that. I mean, just playing. They didn't take a play off. I mean, I was really surprised that the Chattooga defensive line didn't get some penetration, but they were very effective at controlling that, just moving that line.
Hester playing tomorrow night.
What?
Hester back.
Hester is back. I can tell you, Hester is back in the lineup, and Chattooga looks to be healthy again and have the full lineup. But Pepperell is a lot like Fannin and Class 8 AA. They're at the very top end with 900 plus kids, and Chattooga has slipped down to around that 650 enrollment mark. So you're looking at 50% larger student body. You're looking at a 50% larger roster. Both Fannin and Pepperell have 59, 60 kids on the roster. Chattooga holds barely over 40. So I think that the depth is always a problem for Chattooga. Too many of these guys never leave the field. And of the 13, 14 seniors on Chattooga's team, 8 of them are two-way starters. So you're looking at guys who are just by the fourth quarter, these guys are pretty worn down. And Pepperell is young. Pepperell's able to rotate in guys, and while it hasn't paid off for him yet, I definitely think I don't think it's going to be a sure win for the Indians. They're favored, but they're going to have to fight for it. I know Rick Hurst. I know how he coaches his teams. He's going to have these kids ready, and I think that Chattooga is going to have to fight for this win.
Just like I told somebody as I was walking out from Fannin, they were shaking their heads, and I said a couple of simple words, and it is a line of scrimmage game, and we did not do anything on the line of scrimmage on either side.
No. But now I know the kids we had on O line, and we had some O linemen who are 5'10" and 150 pounds. We have O linemen who are 5'11" and 165. That's our O linemen. You know, when you go to Fannin County, that's not going to cut it.
How do you guys think the Dade Fannin County game will come out? You think Dade will give them a fight?
No.
Nope. Sorry.
Not a chance.
We're going to get blasted for that. I know. But.
Love my Dade County guys, but no, not that one. I mean, I really like the Dade County kids. I think those kids come out with some fight and with some fire. I think Coach Poston has them ready to go. I don't think they have the personnel to.
They're going to have to throw it around. You're not going to.
I don't think Fannin County is a AA school. I don't think Fannin County belongs in the AA classification. Their facilities were elite, beautiful, nice. Their hospitality, their athletic director, their personnel there, fantastic. I mean, top shelf people. But that team is not a AA team. And look what they did against a team in 6 AAA that's not even going to make the playoffs. Sonoraville dismantled them 32-0. And it was because that game was a good battle. It was a very good game up to the third, midway through the third quarter. And it was the other way around. Sonoraville was able to wear them down. It was more evenly matched. When they're going up against schools that have less than 700 kids, you can't field the team to compete. That's my take on it.
Well,
I guess what? Since that game, Cheatham's went to the kids and be like, okay, let's turn it up.
Yeah,
no, you better believe that.
They did. It wasn't. It wasn't. Let's say it wasn't really rocket science what they did. I mean, they were just the nose guard was pushing the center 2 yards back in the backfield. The linebackers were coming. I mean,
whoever their O-line coach was, it was beautiful.
Yes.
Man on man. They were winning personal battles, man on man. They were winning them up front and winning them big.
You had the guard pulling. They were sealing down. They were kicking around and just sealing the corner. And he was just, the quarterback, when they did quarterback run to one side or another, he was kind of jogging out on the edge until he just saw the hole. I mean, he was.
Yeah, and all 4 guys they had carrying the ball were averaging 8 yards plus a carry. All 4 guys. So it's not like Seth Reese was just saying, here, let me be Seth Reese and dominate.
Yeah.
Every guy that got the ball was gaining 8 yards a carry.
There was a young guy. Well, I don't know if he was young or not, but he was number 4, and he was quick. I mean, he hit the whole.
I think they said his name was Garfield or something. Yeah, that might have been number 18, wearing an off number.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, sorry we got off on that. I believe that is the last region. Yep, that'll do it.
The Dalton Paulding County game. Dalton's up 22-14 with 37 seconds left in the first half.
Yeah, I don't understand that Dalton team.
They play great.
They played Calhoun close, and they played the Douglas County close last week, and then they played Paulding County, who I think is 1-7 close.
They're my Jekyll and Hyde right there. Hey, Chris, before we get out of here, the North Murray Adairsville. I mean,
now everybody go back and look at the schedule these 2 teams have played. Compare like opponents. You're going to see wins and losses that are almost identical. They lose by about the same amount of points, and they beat other teams by about the same amount of points. So you cannot compare like opponents, which is weird. They both have wins over certain teams by the same amount. So this is a very evenly matched game. I think
I like the air attack.
You really can't pick it. I mean, with Griffin, he's got the hot hand. But with also you got to figure in Eli Agnew, who's coming off a 4 touchdown game himself. He had a big night at Rockmart. So it's going to be fun to watch tomorrow. I can tell you that. I just hope it doesn't rain. I know it's going to be cold. I can stand the cold. I can stand rain. I can't stand cold rain.
Well, I can tell you Agnew has been my favorite player on Adairsville for the last 2 years. I mean, I know that Tokyo Gordon and a lot of these guys got a lot of hype. Eli Agnew was a workhorse performer, producer. I just felt like he was a north-south runner who ran with a good intensity. And so I think he's going to be a playmaker. And I think Seth Griffin for North Murray, I'm like Benton there. I just feel that they're not going to be able to handle that air attack. They struggled with little Pate from
Jackson Pate
from Sonora. They struggled to get a grip on that kid, and he is no Seth Griffin, So
he's had a phenomenal season.
The thing that stands out to me is Rockmart. Rockmart was able to throw for over 200 yards last week against Daresville, and they don't really have a passing game.
Yeah,
and if he was able to throw for 200, Seth's going to throw for.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the decider. Now, Daresville has pulled some rabbits out of hats.
Some athletes though, so it's going to be tougher than you think because they've got some very good matchups with some of their guys matching up against those younger receivers for North Murray. So, I still think it's going to be a very good ball game.
Yeah, look at that for an air attack. That's
please don't show me that.
Hey, it's 7 o'clock, 45%, 50, 44.
But look what that's going to do to North Murray. That's going to be a much bigger crutch for North Murray than it is for Adairsville.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. Never know, though. It's liable to just disappear.
Yeah.
There it goes. It disappeared.
You can never trust weather reports. That's why I always say there's a 50% chance of it raining every day. You never know.
So,
well, guys, we're at the hour and a half mark. I'm going to have to sign out here too.
Oh yeah, we are.
Hey guys, I'm going to put links in the description for everybody. You can follow the Potluck guys on Twitter, Region 7 AA Sports. Everybody, I'm going to put a link in there for the Green family. If anybody wants to help out Coach Green and his family,
I got you,
with the cancer treatment he's going through, and we'll be back tomorrow night.
Yeah, everybody underneath all your clothes, wear some red out for the Bravos.
Yeah.
Now,
the Bravos, and we'll be broadcasting the Chattooga game. It is their senior night, and they're retiring the jersey of NFL player and former Indian Sonoris Perry. I know Benton will be covering that a little more extensively. So we will be there to celebrate that senior night performance and what will be a chance to lock in a number 2 seed.
Hey, Levi, I got, if Haralson County makes it to the state championship game and wins it, I'll put on the singlet for you.
I'll be there. Let me tell you, if Harrison makes the state championship game, I will be there and I will bring you a singlet.
A medium.
Yeah,
a medium.
Small medium.
Hey, we'll make it work. Callaway scored again too, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That one's gonna
hey, so if Ben, if it is Hurd coming up to Chattooga as the number 3 coming over to take the number 2, how is Hurd's quarterback now? DJ, you think he's going to be back? You think that there's a chance he'll be back for that?
So from what I heard of talking to multiple people, it happened because Harrison County was their homecoming. From what I heard was he was helping them put up a float or something, and he fell and landed awkwardly on his ankle. I see it. I don't know how extensive his ankle injury was, but talking to some of the guys and some of the coaches over there in Hurd County, they're thinking that they don't think it's broke. They don't think nothing majorly's done with it. They're trying to kind of rest it to see. They want him back at 100% instead of pushing it at 65 and trying to make a bigger push than what they needed, because they figure now they got a playoff spot already solidified. So from what I'm hearing, they're more taking it as a long run instead of a short term, which I think he could be back. Callaway. But again, it's one of those things that only he can tell, especially with an ankle injury. I feel like he could be back for Callaway, but again, depending on how the coaches see it, he could also stay out until the playoffs.
Yeah.
Either way, I think it's a tough matchup for Chattooga because it's a top 20 team.
Of course, you got Hurd. They're in 2A right now. They're ranked by Max Prep. They're ranked the number 29 team in the class of 2A. And that Chattooga team, I hear y'all talk about them all the time. I don't really know much about them, but even with a quarterback that could be 100% healthy or could be 50% healthy in that playoff picture, I feel like that's still going to be a good game because even though Heard County has a lot of great athletes, they fell into the same bug that I've seen week in and week out, where turnovers and things that when it's coming playoff time shouldn't be happening. So I feel like that game is still anybody's game. Even though I think Lawrence said that Heard County was favored, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I feel as if Chattooga comes out and plays the game that y'all talk about them playing all the time, that game could go Chattooga by 2 touchdowns, depending on how Heard County's offense plays.
To me, it comes down to the line of scrimmage. I'm not sure what Herd has on the line of scrimmage, but
they average 300 on the offensive line.
Yeah, that doesn't
That's
sound
bad
good.
news.
You need to hush. You need to hush now that.
So I will say that me being an offensive line guy, so that's what I watch mostly.
Yeah.
Line D line. Harris County, as y'all know, has a pretty good defense. D1 athlete on the right side. His little brother on the left side, he's probably a future D1 athlete as well. Both of them have over 5 sacks on the year. Both of them have double-digit forced fumbles, tackle for losses. And nose guard he's there to do a placement. But against Heard County's offensive line, I mean, Harris County's D line ate them up all night. I tell you what, Clay Hyatt, he had 4 plays where it was three defensive linemen and they blitzed one linebacker, and it was Clay going non-touch through the middle, killing the running back as he took the handoff. There was a few plays where I thought Clay could have took the handoff before the running back. So I would call it from when coaches used to say when we played, they're big but they're gentle giants, depending on how you want to see it.
Well, sometimes all they have to be is big. Chris, back up to you. Nobody's giving a lot of hope to either Sonoraville or Lafayette this week. Sonoraville has Ringgold. Lafayette is going to Rockmart. Do they have any chance at all?
Everybody's got a chance, but I think Rockmart wins big there. I like quite a few players from Lafayette. They've had a great year. Andy Scott's had a great year as his first year at Lafayette.
I just heard there was some dissension in the ranks around the quarterback position going on this week. Some social media comments being made that had thrown some gas on the fire up there.
Really? I haven't seen those.
Well,
if you want to talk about Sonoraville and Ringgold, I think the Ringgold guys are ready to play. And going back to last year, Ringgold didn't like being at home, even though they're 5-5. They could have easily been 6-4. But also, Sonoraville could have been easily 7-3 last year. They were both at home at 5-5. The reason Sonoraville was at home, they LFO and Murray County. The reason Ringgold was at home was Sonoraville. And I've heard so many comments from those Ringgold Tigers that they remember that, and they didn't. That's why I think this is going to be one of those games that's going to be a hard-hitting, tough matchup, and Ringgold's going to be looking to get back from being at home last year.
Well, I'll say it's a little bit of a testament to Denver Pate, the head coach there at Sonoraville, because now all of a sudden teams like Adairsville, they consider the game against Sonoraville a bit of a grudge match. Ringgold, they're considering this game a bit of a grudge match. And I think it's a testament to your coach and your player culture when other teams see you as somebody important or significant to knock off. So I think that Sonoraville is headed in the right direction. A fairly young team. They've got a really good big O-line.
Very young. This is a very young team. I mean, I always look at playoff pairings like out. So I've already got my 4 for 2022 wrote down. And Sonoraville's one of those, and they're pretty high up.
Yeah, Zach Lyle's coming back. Pate's coming back. 2 of their linebackers are coming back.
You got Springfield, Beddington, Bryant, Red, Jackson Pate coming back. You've got a ton of guys coming back for
Mhm.
Norville next year. And so they're one of my four I'm looking at to have a big 2022. They're just
I feel
really
like they
young
can
this year.
definitely growing in the right direction there. So I agree. Anybody's got a chance, and I think that Sonorville has a better chance tomorrow than Lafayette does.
Yeah. I don't know if Lafayette matches up too well with athletes, their offensive firepower there at Rockmart. So I look for, I don't know whatever the line is there, but it's probably about right.
All right, guys,
So
I'm being paged. That's it for me. Chris, Benton, Lawrence, everybody, DJ and RJ, thanks for having me here, guys.
See ya.
And next time I'll bring a sleeping bag and a tent and some marshmallows.
Yeah.
See you, man.
What are we going to do? Watch Monday Night Football this Monday and do a man.
I mean,
like Peyton and Eli.
Yeah, instead of the Manning cast, it'd be the Morgan cast.
Hey, we're gonna get Marshawn on here.
Yeah.
Drop F-bombs, you know.
Oh goodness. Oh, that was rough.
How about that quarterback for the Cardinals, man? Is the top ranked quarterback in the NFL right now.
Yeah, he's on my fantasy team.
Wait, who is it? I can't see.
I can't remember his name, man. He played at Oklahoma, right?
Kyler Murray.
Kyler
Now,
Murray.
I know who it is. I'm just saying, 5'9". I don't know. Wait, I don't even think he's 5'9".
Yeah.
5'8".
And he could have played baseball if he wanted to.
Yeah,
he could have
was
drafted
top
baseball.
pick.
He was drafted by the A's.
And he got the money too and played Oklahoma.
Now Arizona has went out and got some top level receivers. They got AJ Green.
Hey, that's my boy right there.
Speaking of receivers, I think me and Lawrence might have to play receiver for Green Bay. Everybody's out.
Yeah.
There's top 3 wide receivers out.
Yep.
I tell you what,
right,
you give me 500,000, I'll catch one right across the middle.
Yeah.
Hey, that's league minimum, ain't it? That's minimum.
And a gurney.
You don't have to go up against JJ Watt tonight, so you're good.
All right, guys. Well, I got to get off here too. I will. Thanks for having me on. It's been fun.
Yeah, I'll probably. I'm at home tomorrow at Somerville, so I'll be on.
Yeah.
I'll be on tomorrow night.
Yeah, we hope we hope to see you with a lot of smiles tomorrow night, huh?
I hope so. All
right.
Well, I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, we'll see y'all.
All right, bye.
I'll be at home tomorrow too.